Hi, everybody. Welcome to Top of the Town. My name is Shalimar Gonzales, and I'll be your MC for tonight. So tonight we've got a great program that's going to start right at 6 o'clock. But in the meantime, please hang out and enjoy the musical stylings of Ben Hunter.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Hunter. I'm going to be playing some music for you today. I'm going to open up with a song by the great Mississippi John Hurt. It's not by him. It was a traditional song that he popularized probably the most. I think his version is the best. It's called Pallet on Your Floor. Make me down, pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet sold alone. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Up the country 20 miles or more. Up the country 20 miles alone. I'm going up the country where the cold still snow. No telling how much further I'm gonna go. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet sold alone. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Don't you let my good gal catch you here. Don't you let my good gal catch you here. She might shoot you, cut you, even scar you too. Yeah, watch out. Ain't no telling what she gonna do. Make me down a pallet on your phone. Make me down a pallet on your phone. Make me down a pallet sold alone. Make me down a pallet on your phone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 12th annual Top of the Town event. I'm Shalimar Gonzales, the board chair for Community Roots Housing and your MC for the night. On behalf of the staff and the board of Community Roots Housing, I thank you for joining us this evening. And I must also thank Community Roots Housing Foundation Board, who worked so hard on this event, and their board president, Margaret Pack Inslow. Before I go any further, I have to thank Ben Hunter for the fantastic music that you've enjoyed up to this point. Ben's going to be performing twice more this evening, so he'll be back soon. We have an exciting lineup of speakers tonight with remarks by my fellow board member, Derrick Belgarde, and Community Roots Housing staff, Chris Pearsons and Donna Moody. Chris will join Stephen Knipp from GenPride and Dr. Sheila Lange from Seattle Central College for a conversation, and there will be some time for questions and answers from the audience. This program will be less than an hour, and from there we'll have an opportunity to go into some breakout rooms. So I know that tonight we are all pretty familiar at this point with our Zoom functionalities and settings. So I just want to give people a little quick reminder. I know some of you are off work tonight, and so I want to make sure that we've got this so we have a great event. So on our main program, you're going to be muted so that everyone can hear all the conversations and everything that's happening. And then during our Q&A, you can use your chat feature and submit your questions in a written form. After the program, there'll be some breakout rooms for you to jump into, so that way you can have a discussion with your table group and other folks to have a generative conversation about the conversations that you heard earlier today. And then some of our tonight's speakers or the Community Roots Housing staff may pop in to your breakout sessions just to say hello. So if you see a new face, feel free to welcome them to your virtual gathering. If you have any questions during the program, please use your chat feature within the Zoom to send a private message to Community Roots staff. These staffers are marked clearly as Community Roots and will have a special role in their names to help steward kind of donors and donations and breakout rooms and general questions. So that's about it for our Zoom function. So everybody have a good time tonight. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Derrick Belgarde, who's going to give us a land acknowledgement. Derrick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Derrick Belgarde. I'm an enrolled member of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon, also a Ojibwe Cree. I'm also fortunate enough to be the treasurer of this wonderful organization, Community Roots Housing. So I was asked to do the land acknowledgement here today. And my teachers have always said that it's always important, no matter where you go, whether you cross the hemispheres, the equator, it doesn't matter anywhere in this world. It's always important to recognize and honor those that walked the earth before us, the people, the first stewards of the land. And so there it is. I'm asking everybody to actually take a moment to think about this and think about the people who walk this land, the Coast Salish people, the Duwamish, the Muckleshoot, the Suquamish. This area that we're all in right now, where all of our buildings are at, areas that once Salish families, Salish communities once thrived, raised healthy families, a place where they gathered medicines and they hunted traditional foods. They did traditional ceremonies. There was a place of peace. The land was pristine and clean. You know, in native country today, there's a saying that we say, the westernized medicines, the westernized sciences are finally catching up with our indigenous knowledge. Because people are now starting to see that everything that we've said all along is so true, that we're all connected in this world, that what we do to the earth will come back to us. What we do to each other in our communities harms our own community. We see this now with the turmoil and the chaos that our country is going through, with what's happening with our Black brothers and sisters. And so in closing today, I'm going to do a song, and it's called the Yellow Butterfly Song. And butterfly obviously is a symbol of spring. Spring is a time of renew, birth, start over, and things to rise new again. So I sing this song in hopes and prayers that our country can finally close a chapter of its racism and oppression, and that we can actually turn the page and actually start a new chapter in this country, one that's fair and equitable for all communities, for our children, our grandchildren, and all future generations to come. Aho.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you again for being here for our 12th annual Top of the Town celebration. As always, it's a great pleasure to see you all here. Thank you so much, Derrick, for a wonderful land acknowledgement and a beautiful sacred song. You know, this is really an unusual time for us tonight, because for the first time, we're doing this event not as Capitol Hill Housing, but as Community Roots Housing. So welcome to the first annual Community Roots Housing Top of the Town. And I recommend that you all applaud on that, because even though I can't hear you applaud, and you may be sitting in your apartment alone, you're still sending out some really good vibes there. So please, please applaud throughout the night. I have a lot of people to thank, because there's a lot of people that put on this event and support our organization. And I want to start with Barbara and Michael Malone. I am so sad that we are not at the lovely Sorrento Hotel this evening. But I know we're going to be back there next year. And, you know, thank you, Malones, for everything you do for our organization, and Mike Malone, everything that you're doing right now for our community. Thank you very much. And Hunter's Capital Table, I see you out there. Thank you for your support in this community. I also want to thank the Community Roots Housing PDA and Foundation Board. Your leadership, you know, it goes unseen by many, but it doesn't go unseen by me. And you make us the great organization that we are. So thank you to our boards, and a special thank you again to Shalimar Gonzales, our board chair, for emceeing today. I also want to again just thank the table captains. We have nearly 200 people today, and you know, feel free to scroll through the crowd, see who's out there, chat amongst yourselves. You're the folks that make this event a success. Thank you all for coming. And again, thank you to that, you know, fantastic artist, Ben Hunter, for the music tonight. I also want to thank our sponsor partners. Our presenting sponsor, Columbia Pacific Advisors, thank you, Stan. Our premier partners, HealthCell and Fetterman, thank you, Sam. Signature partners, Heritage Bank, Home Street Bank, Hotel Sorrento, Hunter's Capital, Seattle University, and United Healthcare. And our event sponsors, Banner Bank, BECU, Chop House Row Cloud Room, Enterprise Housing Credit Investments, GGLO, Methune, Pacifica Law Group, SMR Architects, Sprague Israel Giles, Timberlane Partners, Walsh Construction, and Windermere Midtown Pike Pine. Everybody, please give it up. Send those good vibes out to all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'd also like to recognize our state representative of the 43rd District, longtime Speaker of the House, champion of housing, Frank Chop. Frank, thank you for everything you do for our organization and our community. And finally, I want to thank all of the Community Roots Housing staff who make sure we live up to our name every day. But for tonight, particularly, I want to thank Laura Araya, Jessica Sherwin, who's standing right over here right now taking photographs of me, Kylie Dott, and Justin Roca for making the transition to the Zoom event so seamless. At least it's been seamless for me. You know, we're not known for our stodgy, formulaic events. We're known for lively, inspiring, and fun events. And we want virtual Top of the Town to be no different. So pour yourself another drink and sit back and enjoy. As you've heard, we've got a great lineup. I'm going to have a great conversation with Seattle Central College President, the great Dr. Sheila Lange, and GenPride Executive Director, the amazing Stephen Knipp. We're going to have more music from Ben Hunter, and then a special field report from our very own Donna Moody, the Executive Director of the Capitol Hill Eco District, reporting from the Community Kitchens Project at Marjorie Restaurant. It was just 10 days ago that we announced our name change was taking effect. Immediately, we are Community Roots Housing. Changing our name wasn't something we took lightly as a 44-year-old organization with roots on Capitol Hill, with 48 properties around the city, a national reputation for innovation and excellence, and a legion of loyalists. The process was thorough. It started in February 2017, 3 years ago. Included a public survey that garnered over 600 responses, dozens of focus groups, hundreds of name options to sift through and debate, and then pyramid communications to punch us over the goal line. But there are many people who put in many hours to get this done: volunteers, board members, staff members, community stakeholders, consultants, and even some lawyers. Far too many for us to name, not just the lawyers. But I have to mention one person by name, and that's Yiling Wong. This was her baby. She was the project manager, and it wasn't always easy. In fact, it was never easy, but she pushed it through and was always a gracious professional under great scrutiny and pressure. Eling Long, nice job, Eling. There she is. She's over there waiting. So why did we change our name? What does it mean to be Community Roots Housing? When I said a minute ago, we are Community Roots Housing, I meant it. For the past 10 years, our core purpose has been to build vibrant and engaged communities, but that's what we've always been doing since 1976. And it is a mission that we are committed to and shows up in our work. Liberty Bank Building, Africatown Plaza, White Center Hub, Yesler Family Housing, 12th Avenue Arts, and Seattle's first LGBTQ senior affordable housing project right here on Capitol Hill. Our commitment to community shows up in our work. Our commitment also shows up in our partnerships. Africatown, Seattle Chinatown International District PDA, GenPride, White Center CDA, Southwest Youth and Family Services, Bird Bar Place, Youth Care, Seattle Central College, Jazz Ed. We don't build community alone, we build community with you. Because our mission shows up in our allegiance to community priorities, whether it's the Capitol Hill community or the White Center community or the African American community or the LGBTQ community, your priorities are our priorities. It's not always easy. In fact, it's hard work. But as long as, and there are frequently competing priorities that we have to navigate through, but as long as we are driven by those priorities, and as long as we listen to and are led by our heart, then the good work will get done. We didn't so much as choose our new name as our new name chose us. We are Community Roots Housing. Thank you. Okay, before we go out to Donna Moody in the field, I can't be here as the CEO of Community Roots Housing at 12th Avenue Arts on Capitol Hill without talking about what's been going on in our neighborhood. It wasn't that many days ago that the streets surrounding 12th Avenue Arts were filled with protesters demanding justice at the edge of police barricades. In fact, the streets throughout the city and in cities throughout the nation were filled with protesters demanding justice. And we must never forget the justice they are fighting for. Breonna Taylor, Charlene Lyles, George Floyd, and so many other Black Americans unjustly killed at the hands of police officers. The protesters on the streets beneath our windows, angry but peaceful, demanding justice, were met with barricades, pepper spray, flash bombs, and tear gas. And yes, among the thousands of protesters, there were those few who went too far and even were intentional in their effort to turn the protests awry. But none of it warranted the militaristic, brute response that all received. And if we allow the fewest among us to silence the voice of all of us, then the very foundation of our democracy is imperiled, and we will have had stolen our right to say their names again. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Charlene Lyles. We must never forget what this movement is about. For several nights, the occupation of our community by the police continued. Tear gas penetrated into our apartment buildings. There were injuries, arrests, they piled up until the voices of the community, mine among them, demanded that the police stand down. And so on June 8th, the police retreated, inexplicably leaving their barricades behind, which immediately were deployed by the people in the community to establish another occupation, the Chaz. I watched it from the windows right over there. But when I left the building that night, it was the most peaceful this community had been in days. At that time, earnest people filled the Chaz, then it became the CHOP, to protest, to debate, and to demand change. Change we still demand today. But what's happening in the area now has little to do with the movement for Black lives. Most of the activists have moved on. The park has become little more than an encampment. Residents are being threatened and chased, and businesses are being hurt. A young Black man was shot and killed. It's time for the CHOP to come down, peacefully and without police violence. We are adamantly supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement and of all Black lives. We are adamantly supportive of deep police reform and of leading with compassion instead of guns. But what's happening in our neighborhood now is not progressing the movement, but it's impeding it. And it's destroying small businesses, so many of which are POC owned or women owned or LGBTQ owned. And it is making life miserable for our residents, the majority of whom are people of color. There have been many missteps that have led to this. And now a lawsuit against the city, which should never have had to come to this. It's time to focus on moving forward and bringing the community back to normal. But I don't know what normal is. It can't just be the old normal. It can't be the old normal. Forcing us to choose between anarchy and police brutality is a false dichotomy. Compassion and law enforcement aren't mutually exclusive. The city must put our community back together. The city must compensate businesses who are failing because of the city's failed policies and actions, and the city must enact deep reform of our policing to ensure that Black lives will not be unjustly taken again. Thank you. So with that, now we get to go to see Donna Moody at Marjorie Restaurant. Thank you all again. Donna, are you out there?
We're live. We are reporting from the field. I am here at Marjorie Restaurant, and one of the reasons that I'm here is because on Thursdays we do this really awesome thing called Community Kitchens, and distribute meals to affordable housing residents. And we get the meals from restaurants who've been struggling with COVID-19 and other activities in the city that have reduced their business. So that's one of the many aspects of community that the Eco District is kind of charged with. It's one of the many reasons that I love working at Capitol Hill Housing, now Community Roots Housing, so much. And also another thing we're working on is getting a school-based health center in Lowell Elementary. And we're also really committed to creating a public life plan for the Capitol Hill neighborhood that serves the community, connects the community, and preserves our environmental resilience. So I basically could not be happier every day when I get up and come to work. And I am in gratitude for the opportunity to do the work I'm doing, and just so encouraged that a community of people are supporting me. We actually have a live table here, so I've got lots of people that not just love me, but love Capitol Hill Housing. Come on, you guys. You have to come into the screen for a minute. We actually managed to get everyone together. Come on, you guys, show up. We're live. We're live. We're socially distanced with masks, and we are all having a Capitol Hill party for the Community Roots Housing organization, which we love. Thanks.
All right, Donna, it was so great to see you out there. It's a pleasure to see you, my friend. So up next, we have our very special guests, and they are going to be doing a conversation. Again, for you to engage in the conversation, we encourage you to open up that chat box and throw in your questions, and we'll be sure to have an opportunity to get to those questions and provide you some answers. So up next, we have Chris, Stephen, and Sheila for their conversation.
I'm very excited to be here again with Stephen and Sheila for a little conversation to talk about some more details about Seattle's first LGBTQ senior affordable project, and about working in community and partnering in community together. So Stephen Knipp, Executive Director of GenPride, just starting with you. We're partnering on this project. Just let's give the folks an update. Where are we? What's going on?
Well, Chris, thank you for inviting me tonight. I'm delighted to be here with Community Roots Housing, who has been an amazing partner for GenPride. I'd say that they've given us a shot in the arm to build our own roots in the community by putting up and promoting this LGBTQ affirming building. We are right now permitting the building right now and plan to break ground in May of next year. So GenPride is busy with fundraising efforts and programming efforts and just trying to engage the community as much as possible. I do want to really thank community leaders throughout the organizations. We had invited, there's 8 other LGBTQ organizations that are part of this whole genesis of this project. They've been very gracious in their time and really thankful for that. But GenPride is now moving towards this grand goal of being in a brand new senior community center right on Capitol Hill. We're going to put our stake in the ground there on Capitol Hill. We're delighted to be next to the college and look forward to working together.
That's awesome, and you guys have been fantastic partners. We're so excited about moving this project forward. Can you tell us how many units are going to be in the project, and maybe sort of the affordability levels, and when can I apply to get my apartment there?
That's a good question, Chris. So just to let people know, if they go to YouTube and go to GenPride Community on YouTube, they'll find an update that'll give you a lot of details, building plans. We had photographs, we had a discussion just yesterday, so people can look at that. But to answer your question, there'll be 118 apartments. 28 of them will be 1-bedroom apartments, 90 will be studio apartments. And we are looking, like I mentioned before, we're looking to break ground in May of next year. And so about a year from that date, we will start looking at applications and opening up the process for people to start applying for the building, which will open in late 2022.
Awesome.
And people can come to our website. Probably the best way to stay connected with this whole application process and building updates is to go to genprideseattle.org and sign up for our newsletter, and you'll get regular communication on the building. I'm
sure somebody on staff is going to put that in the chat box right now, so that information is going to be available for folks.
Great.
And Sheila, a lot of people probably don't know this, but Seattle Central College is intimately involved in this project too, as they are with most land projects on Capitol Hill. Can you give a little background on that?
Yes, and thank you, and Steve and Chris. Seattle Central College actually owns a number of parcels right along Broadway. And as I became president, we started thinking about how we could leverage those properties to be in service to the community and to the college. And so Community Roots, which was then Capitol Hill Housing, was a natural partner for us to start talking to about what the possibilities might be for some of that property. And we were fortunate to be able to partner also with Sound Transit and free up the land where the GenPride project is going to go. And we're really looking forward to having them as a new neighbor.
Yeah, and it's been great working with the college. You guys are great partners in the community. So Stephen,
yes.
It's Pride. With everything going on, I can't, it's Pride. So can you talk about Pride and what it means right now for this project on Capitol Hill during Pride?
Well, I would say, the biggest piece of pride for me around this project is the fact that, 50 years ago, 51 years ago now, last year we celebrated 50 years of Stonewall. And now we have this pandemic that we're in the middle of that harkens back to some of our own history with AIDS and other areas of this similar kind of a pandemic. And a lot of us were scattered off Capitol Hill. In my mind, the Capitol Hill area has been the LGBTQ historic focus and neighborhood. And so this project is going to really reestablish and put a beautiful beacon right there in the heart of Capitol Hill on Broadway and something that we can really look to for decades in the future to be a shining bright light that came out of Stonewall and this pandemic.
No, that's fantastic. And I think, putting a stake in the ground for the LGBTQ community, so many of the communities in Seattle are facing displacement. Obviously, the Central District, in Capitol Hill, the LGBTQ community is being displaced, and we need to put stakes in the ground and say, you can't just force us out of these communities because somebody else can pay more for the property now. So this is great to be partnering with you on this. And Sheila, I know the college is doing a lot of work on partnering. You've got a new initiative around partnering. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, the strategic plan for our college calls for us to do more in partnering with community-based organizations. So we created an Office of Strategic Partnership 2 years ago to identify ways that we could partner with community-based organizations and others to enrich our academic offerings at the college, but also provide additional opportunities for our students to be out in the community, working on real life projects, getting that experience before they go out into the world of work. So we're pretty excited about the opportunities that the GenPride project is going to bring. We're hoping that we can put students in there as interns. We're hoping that we can get some of the elders from the project to come into our classroom and share their life experiences with our students. So many opportunities for us to partner with our new neighbor as we go forward on the project.
It's a really cool initiative for the college to be doing. If an organization or individual wanted to learn more about that, and before you answer this, this would be a good time if you've got questions for Stephen or Sheila, put them in the chat right now, and we'll address those to them directly. So let's get those questions rolling, folks. But Sheila, how would people learn more about that?
Well, just seattlecentral.edu is our website, and you can actually just do a search for the Office of Strategic Partnerships, and maybe someone from the staff can put that website address in the chat so that people can get that. And we have a team that will partner and follow up with folks who are interested in partnering with the college.
Awesome. So Stephen, what are the services you're going to be providing on the ground floor?
Well, there's going to be a real mix of services, Chris. The ground floor is going to be approximately 4,000 square feet of GenPride offices and a community center. We're going to have a big, beautiful community center and a commercial kitchen that will serve the community lunches on a daily basis. And we'll also have programming. This room will be a multifaceted kind of a space. And we'll have programming like our exercise programs. We have a very robust writing program right now. And the offices will also have your customary social services for folks that need assistance with benefits. But mostly, Chris, I see this project as being a place for community to gather. I'm really excited about the prospects of working with Sheila's organization because one thing that I hear more and more from elders is we really need to increase our intergenerational mix, because we have a lot of people that have a whole lifetime of experience, and they're just not being heard from as they could be. I'll give a little plug to an anthology book that we're publishing this October. It's called Unmuted, Stories of Courage and Resilience from the GenPride Community. And I learned firsthand, we have 14 stories in this booklet that will just blow your mind of experiences that our community has had. And really what it does is it shows how much we're all very much alike. We all have struggles. We all have things we go through in life that really challenge us. But in the end, we're all connected, like Derrick referred to earlier. So it's an exciting partnership to have with this prospect with Seattle College.
No, I think it's absolutely right. We're all connected. We need to remember that all of the time. It's easy to forget, particularly at a very divided time. Margaret Pack Enslow just posted a note that said, "Bring the youth and elders together." There's so much division among people right now. We have to come together as people all the time, and we need to lead with our hearts. And we need to be compassionate, and the world can be a better place if we're that
way, Sheila.
Okay, well, is that my cue? Thank you, Chris and Steve, for the opportunity to engage. Do we have any questions in the chat?
There are no questions in the chat.
Okay,
We'll be in the breakout rooms afterwards, right, Chris?
yes,
Yes, we will.
great.
And Margaret says there are no questions because we're in awe.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you, Chris and Steve, for this opportunity to be part of this new project. But I've been the president at Seattle Central for 5 years now. And in that time, my partnership with Community Roots Housing has been so important to the college. While many in the community know Community Roots for its work providing affordable housing, as the president of Seattle Central and someone who is a neighbor and partner, I know Community Roots to be much more than that. I know it to be a consistent and reliable partner, building community through its championing of small businesses, fighting gentrification, and hosting the Capitol Hill Eco District, which we are really a very important part of. Community Roots is at the table with Africatown, for example, and others to create and sustain Black ownership in the Central District. I know Community Roots to be a policy and legislative advocate on issues of homelessness, public safety, and vibrant public spaces. They bring community organizations together with businesses, policymakers, and others to figure out the solutions to our region's most complex problems in a way that strengthens our community and our region. And so while the work that Community Roots does is important in terms of building affordable housing, they uniquely do it with community at the center of everything that they do. And this approach has been to holistically think about where this housing is going to go and who and where in the community will be impacted by it. And then engaging the community in the actual planning for that housing. And so the result of this kind of holistic planning is housing that actually contributes to the broader community beyond just providing shelter. Community Roots builds healthy, thriving communities. So please join me in supporting them in this transformative work. I'm here to ask you to make an investment in keeping our communities healthy and our neighborhoods affordable. Tonight, for example, there are no credit card fees. So every dollar that you give goes directly to support Community Roots Housing. The web address to make donations is in the Zoom chat box, as well as in this afternoon's email with the event details that each one of us should have gotten. So please copy and paste the address from the chat box or click on the email link that you got to make a donation. Table captains, a huge thank you for your leadership tonight. Now is a great time for you to ask your guests to make a donation. So you can ask them either by text, so text your table, by private Zoom chat, or even just talking to them across the table, because I know that some of you are together. And to motivate you and excite you about giving to this worthy cause, we're going to have some more wonderful music from Ben Hunter. Ben? Thank you all again for your generous support of Community Roots Housing and for being with us tonight. Now, back to you, Shalimar.
All right, everyone. So that wraps up our official program for this evening. You can hang out in your breakout rooms. It's a virtual party, so you don't actually have to go anywhere. You can continue eating your dinner. You can continue sitting on your couch, go back into your breakout room, hang out with your friends, and discuss what you just observed and listened and absorbed tonight. And we're gonna listen one more time to the musical stylings of Ben Hunter. Take it away, Ben.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna keep playing some music. I just want to applaud everybody that spoke, and kudos to the work that everybody's doing. You know, Community Roots Housing is a great organization, and the work that you all are doing and being done by CRH is what is needed right now. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys. While you guys are eating and getting yourself settled and getting into your breakout rooms, I'm just going to play for you guys an Italian lullaby. Not to put you to sleep, just to ease our minds.
And one.
Hey, you want to start your spaghetti?
So that was just a nice little lullaby for you guys. Here's a tune that I wrote after I read this book called The Black Count, and it documented the story of the writer Dumas, his father, and who was born in Haiti to a French white aristocrat, lord of some sort, and his slave, who he had 3 children with. He ended up raising his eldest son um, in in Paris. This is right before the French Revolution, um, when before um, when laws for people of color living on French soil, you were free if you touched the soil. And so in France in those days, there was a lot more of a bohemian lifestyle than one might have thought. Um, there were musicians and scholars and politicians and fashion folk, elite, that were all people of color as well. And actually, much of the French Revolution included freedom for everybody, people of color as well. Not so much women, but on the larger scale of white versus black, that was the case. It wasn't until Napoleon kind of built his way to the top that all got crushed, and he laid on his back to the demands of the plantation owners. But Dumas's father rose to the rank of the highest general for the French Revolution at one time before Napoleon got his legs. And so I just thought it was a really interesting story, and I wrote this piece because it was right to the brink. We were right. France was right there to freeing people of color and everybody until they bent to the will of the plantation owners. And so I wrote this song to say, Mother Earth, please forgive us. We often get so close, and we can see the horizon, and then we somehow tumble and bend to the will of folks. So that's what the song is written for. So that was that song. You guys liked it? It's a little solemn, but you know, these are solemn days. You can't just do happy stuff all the time, I suppose. Anyways, we'll get back to some blues, because who doesn't like some blues? This is a tune by the great Furry Lewis. And he's one of my favorite guitar players, and you know, he played in an open tuning style much of the time, and this is just a good tune. It's called Turn Your Money Green. When I was in Missouri, would not let me be. I was in Missouri, would not let me be. Wouldn't rest content till I came to Tennessee. Well, you follow me, baby, I'll turn your money green. You follow me, baby, I'll turn your money green. I'll show you more money than Bezos ever seen. Well, the river was whiskey and I was a duck. If the river was whiskey and I was a duck, I dive to the bottom and I ain't never gonna come up. Well, the man I hate, I see him every day. Yes, the man I hate, I see him every day. And the woman I love, she's so far away. Talk about my sweetheart, I claim I'm an honest man. Talk about my sweetheart, I claim I'm an honest man. Gave my woman my money and it broke her apron string. All you give me is trouble, trouble all the time. All you give me trouble, trouble all the time. I've been trouble so long, trouble don't worry my mind. I've been down so long, seems like up to me. I've been down so long, seems like up to me. Woman I love, hard like a rock in the sea. Well, I holler murder, tell you what's on my mind. Holler murder, tell you what's on my mind. You can take my body, but you ain't gonna take my mind. It's Furry Lewis. He's got all kinds of great songs. Just look him up. A lot of his YouTube videos are him holding this beautiful cheesy grin, holding a beer can like this, so you'll know it's him because it's just kind of I don't know. It's just a perfect you know. Anyways, let's play you this song here. I'm gonna play you a song by Jimmy Cliff. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Harder They Come. Jimmy Cliff wrote an album for it that was really wonderful, and Sitting in Limbo was one of my favorite songs off that album. And you know, when you listen to Jimmy Cliff sing it, it's, you know, he's sitting here in limbo. He's got this beautiful I don't know, arc to it that really makes it kind of a happy song, even though it's kind of talking about that stuff. You know, I always think of reggae as the blues of the Caribbean. And so I'm doing this in the style of a blues, but, you know, it really is, you know, one of the things about blues music that I think people, I'm a teacher, and I often I'll ask kids, you know, what is blues about? What has anybody heard of the blues? And often people reflect on it as sad music. And it's certainly, the topic, you know, is sad. I'm sure, you know, we're talking about a place and time where to sing your troubles was also something that made you feel better. It was something that helped you let it all out and let it off of your chest. You know, I wish we sang more as a society. I wish we did more things to give ourselves the opportunity to sing more, or play more, or play more music with each other. So, you know, when I think of blues, I think of something to relieve your mind and set you free. And I think the same way about reggae music. So this is Sitting Here in Limbo. Sitting here in limbo, but I know it won't be long. Yeah, sitting here in limbo, like a bird without a song. Well, they're putting up resistance, and I know my faith will lead me on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the dice to roll. Yeah, sitting here in limbo, got some time to search my soul. Well, they're putting up resistance, and I know that my faith will lead me on. I don't know where life will lead me, but I know where I have been. I can't say what life will show me, but I know what I have seen. Tried my hand in love and friendship, that is past and gone. This little boy is moving on. Sitting here in limbo, but I know it won't be long. Yeah, sitting here in limbo, a bird without a song. Well, they're putting up resistance, and I know that my faith will lead me on. Well, they're putting up resistance, and I know that my faith will lead me on. Well, they're putting up resistance, and I know that my faith will lead me on. So there's that song. We did the days, we did that. We did, what could we do? We did palette on your floor. We could do that. We'll do this song. I haven't done this one in a while. I am walking down an ancient path. Footsteps carve a trail that weaves and winds through nature's pain. It is lonely, but I am not alone. I climb through old stone quarries, carrying stories seldom told. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I am sailing on an open sea. Wind soft on my back, whisper secrets just for me. The day is calm, the sun sets tonight, and stars shine down as gentle waves lullaby my mind. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am flying through a deep blue sky. Forests, lakes, and mountains guide me on a moonlit night. The trees they shiver and the lakes they shine. Mountains climb up to a place that's solemn and divine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am calling out to the days before. Memories of lessons learned by way of oral alone. I feel the joy and I hear the cry. Gospel sung through generations, space and time. Mm-hmm. 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 All right, we're gonna do another one I wrote. I think this one is a song I wrote. The Seattle Bushwick Book Club does this thing where they will ask artists they'll ask a bunch of people, the book club, to read a book, but then they'll ask a musician or a poet or somebody to read the book also and write a song. And then they'll come together and have a presentation and a talk about it. At this particular one, I was because I've worked as a teacher for many years. I was asked to get one of our students to read the book also, and then we would each write a song together and perform it. And so we read it and talked about it, and it was a really wonderful experience. It was a very hard book. It was called The Hate You Give, turned into a movie, but it was an excellent book. But a hard book, and certainly one that represents the same, the same problem we have right now, and that we've had for a long time. But it was a really great opportunity to digest this book with one of my students and have a conversation with them about it. And so this is the song that I wrote after our conversation together. When you make me go back to that plane, up, down, and worry. When you never look me in the face. When you shout with your fury. I wish that when I was a boy, it didn't hurt me. But that pain holds on as you carry on your way. Hey, we're giving. It never goes away. There are times I was ashamed to be near you. It's hard for me to explain the part of me that fears you. There's two of me inside my head every day, every night, sending signals. And I know deep down in your heart, baby, and love is true. And the hate we're giving, it ain't coming from you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even when it's dark outside, there are stars to guide me home. As long as I can hold my heart with both hands and never, ever, ever let go. Do you understand what it means to live your whole life home? 'Cause if you play the rose in the concrete and let it bloom, then the hay we're giving turns to sweet perfume. 'Cause if you play the rose in the concrete and help it bloom, when the hay we're giving turns to sweet perfume. All right, I think I probably just got one more song here for you. Thank you so much, Community Roots Housing, for having me. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all you guys out there making it happen and spreading the word and giving the money. These are hard times right now, and I hope that the pandemic and then, of course, the subsequent pain from this reoccurring systemic oppression just helps us realize how much we need each other, how much we rely on each other, and that we got to do this right. The world's too small now. There was once a time when it was really big and you could just hop on a ship and go someplace else and colonize that. But I mean, in reality, like, you literally could just go to another place. And it was a mystery. It was something new, something fresh. And we know everything now. We can see we're actually having a concert via the airwaves right now, which is incredible. Which means the world is just really, really small. We can get anywhere, anytime, any place. And so we have to learn how to live on this planet together. Because the world is going to continue no matter what. The earth is going to go on forever. Well, not forever, but in terms of human concepts, conceptualization is going to go on forever. Long before we're here. Long after we're here. And so we got to just remember that the world keeps on, and we got to find a way to keep on with it. This is a song I wrote called Keep It On. Staring out the window, the mountains in the morning dew, taking Kodak pictures as I pace on by. I find myself reflecting on that first time I looked at you. This train keeps on keeping on. This train keeps on keeping on. These tracks, they got a cadence, they rock me like a lullaby, like my mama used to sing to me at night. Reminiscent, sweet, sing soft and gently hypnotized. This train keeps on keeping on. This train keeps on keeping on. Comfort is a blessing, these moments just the two of us. I hold it in my heart just like a lucky charm. People spend a lifetime just searching for that pixie dust. This train keeps on keeping on. This train keeps on keeping on. My baby, she's growing rising like a morning tide, lights up the whole room just like a midnight moon. Got me learning lessons, things I've been trying hard to hide. This train keeps on keeping on. This train keeps on keeping on. My mama's getting older, but her spirit hasn't wrinkled none. My baby keeps it dancing through the long, long night. Painted on a canvas, rising from Mars and sun. This train keeps on keeping on. This train keeps on keeping on. Well, thank you, everybody, so much. My name is Benjamin Hunter. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I got a Patreon account. I got a Venmo. I got a Cash App. I got all the stuff. But thank you so much for having me and spending your evening with me. Thank you to Community Roots Housing. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Peace.